Hey there creators, Niamh here, and this is the third part of my working on that Celtic knot painting sort of thing that we're going to use as a decoration in our house. So this is starting off basically exactly where it left off in the last part. In the last part I had just traced the outline for the frame part of the oval here, and right now I'm just painting in that part. And yeah, so I end up not completing this piece this time around again. I really wanted to be done with this piece this week and have the completely finished piece up for you guys. Oh, and in this part I had used some of the dark brown to put in some of that inner part, the inner part of the frame there. And now I'm kind of doing a belt buckle sort of frame around it, and it's the same thing that I did with the other one. Yeah, so I'm trying to imitate the other painting. This is a second painting. The first one I completed a while ago, almost 2 years ago, I think. And yeah, that one actually took me a really long time to complete because I stopped painting it for a while, and that was still early on in my time on getting back into art, so I wasn't going as fast as I do now. So even going fast, this has taken me a while, and like I said, I wanted to complete this by this week and have it out for you and completely ready and done and up in our house, you know, not just for you guys but for us too, because we've really been wanting this done and complete. So a lot of things got in the way. Well, what's the main thing? The main thing is that I actually had a really bad eye injury a few days ago, almost a week ago actually now. And don't worry, my eye is pretty much completely healed now, which is great. But what had happened was we were putting together a new patio set for our balcony, and I was taking all the boxes from that was holding the patio, you know, the unfinished, unput together balcony set, and I was taking all the boxes down to the garage, and one of the hard corner pieces was sticking out of the box that I was taking down, and when I stepped down the stairs, it went up and like socked me right in the eye and dropped me to the ground. It was pretty bad. And I didn't initially go to the ER because I was thinking, you know, because I could still see just fine. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I just hurt my eye. This will go away. And yeah, and it's, you know, I can still see, so there's not a concern there. But I kept getting these horrible waves of pain. So right now, I'm putting in these swirly bits on that inner part of the frame, and this I'm trying to imitate the other painting as much as I can here, because the other one had a similar sort of thing. But anyway, so I was getting these waves of intense pain in my eye, and my husband was just like, all right, we're going to the ER. And I went to the ER, and they did like the little test that they do. They basically put this fluorescent stuff in your eye, and then they look at it under a black light or a blue light or something like that, and they try to see if basically if your cornea has been scratched. And I had a nice you know, abrasion across my eye there. It was like almost half my eyeball. Yeah, so it was pretty gnarly, and they gave me some medication that I had to take like every 4 hours, and because of that also I couldn't do any painting for a while, for several days. And I also had to do a follow-up appointment with an ophthalmologist, and oh my god, it was just so much. So here I am. I'm starting the clovers, the shamrocks here, And so I'm starting out the Shamrocks with a kind of a cool green color, and later on I start to add for the Shamrocks I decide to put in the front part, like in the foreground. I go with a more earth tone or warmer color to the Shamrocks, and I leave the Shamrocks in the background as kind of a cooler green, and that kind of gives it a nice depth, because warmer colors tend to be in the front, whereas cooler colors tend to be in the shadows in the back. So yeah, and that worked out pretty well. Yeah, so my eye thing. So I had to go to the ophthalmologist, and by that point, it was actually healing very well. I was super light sensitive for about 2 days. I had to spend a lot of time in a dark, in basically like a cave. My art room was essentially a dungeon or a cave, and I really couldn't see much at all. And then, well, sometimes it would be totally fine, and I could see pretty well. It's still light sensitive, but then waves of pain and stuff, and the light sensitive would get too much. And at one point, my husband was trying to cook on the grill, the new grill that we got, because we not only got a patio set, but we got a grill too, so we really wanted to enjoy that. So he does a little cookout on our balcony, and all the just the smoke and all of that from the grill was so intense I could not handle it, and yeah, it was pretty bad. But yeah, but I feel much better now. My eye is almost completely healed, so that's great. So right now I'm putting some yellow in the clovers in the front, because I want to really highlight some of the shading on those, but the yellow was just too bright. It was too much. So I end up going over some of that again, and this mint green that I had put underneath the yellow was also too much. I was using the yellow to go over the minty green color that was too bright, but of course the yellow was too bright too, so I end up going over those a bit with, yeah, here I am going over those with kind of an olivey green color, and that's when I get more earth tones in the front Shamrocks there. Yeah, and it's mixed with that olive green is some of the metallic gold color, and that adds a nice shine. And then I go through with just the gold, like I'm doing right there, and really highlight some of using that where I wanted the highlights to be for the foreground Shamrocks. And I actually love how that turned out. That turned out really pretty, and really made those stand out. So then I start adding in the Shamrocks in the front were a bit too dull. Oh, right here I'm actually doing the background a bit more, because it just looked so flat, and there was some shading to it, but not enough to really make the Shamrock part stand out. So what I'm doing, I'm really darkening the edges of the background, and I'm darkening the area right behind the Shamrocks in the bottom there, so that it gives it more depth. So it kind of makes the Shamrocks pop out more, really darkening those areas. And then I put in some rose gold metallic paint in the background, just to give it a bit of a shimmer. And yeah, that's really nice. But so when I'm done with that, I start adding in some white highlights on the Shamrocks, and it makes them less realistic looking, which is fine by me, because the other painting, the thistle, it was very I wouldn't say cartoony, but I wasn't really going for realism, so and I sort of wanted to imitate that with the Shamrocks here too. I'm not exactly going with realism. It's somewhat realistic, but it's very stylized. I guess that's the word that I'm looking for. So it's a stylized look. So I do, and it had a lot of sharp white highlights. So I was trying to imitate that again with this one with the Shamrocks here, but I do think I went a little overboard. Of course it doesn't look realistic anymore, which is good because I didn't really want super realistic, so it does kind of give a slight cartoony look because of the white outlines, but I do think I went a little overboard with that. So in the next video I'm going to tone that down a bit. Alright, so we've gotten to the end of this week's video. I'm so sorry I didn't finish it this week. I'm going to try to finish it and have it out next week, and I also have another video planned for next week, so maybe I'll have double videos. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Later, creators. Bye!